animal encounters. The first one is about a bear, the second one a deer, and the last a leopard. And I have noticed that these things have been happening a lot more. Or is that only because I'm noticing it more? I don't know. And while I'm reading these, I'll be coloring this little drawing of these animals in the background. I don't think I'll get to fully color it, so I will finish it in the next video. So if this combination of sounds and visuals help you, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and leave a little or long comment for me. That would help me a lot. And also, thank you to my patrons on WeTellHer ASMR. You guys make these videos possible, and I'm very grateful for it. And you can also check it out if you want to support me and have access to extra ASMR content, some more personal than the videos here. And now, I want you to lay back, get comfy. If you want to sleep, lie down, close your eyes. Let those shoulders loosen and just listen to the sound. And by the way, before I start with the first article, I'm going to mention that after reading each of these notes, I will chat to you guys a little about why this may have happened and what usually triggers this kind of X incident, and what's the safest thing to do if you come face to face with an animal. And in this case, these 3 animals. Alright, so let's get into it. The first article is from website people.com, and it is titled Grizzly Bear Attack on School Students and Teachers Leaves 2 in Critical Condition and Multiple Injured. Uploaded on November 20th. This attack occurred in British Columbia, Canada. 3 kids and an adult in a school group were seriously injured in a grizzly bear attack while out walking in Canada earlier this week, late November of 2025. The emergency services received a call November 20th at 1:46 p.m. local time about an animal attack on a trail that had happened near Highway 20 in Bella Coola, Coola, on Java's central coast. An officer said in a statement, the victims were part of a school group of students and teachers having school lunch along a trail near the river when a grizzly bear emerged from the forest and attacked. Multiple teachers physically intervened using bear spray and a bear banger to drive the bear away. Oh my god, how scary is this? Truly nightmarish. Authorities added, all victims are with medical professionals at this time. Efforts are ongoing to capture the bear. Scary. I guess they have to get the bear and put it down, because once a bear or any apex predator realizes that they can just come and attack weak humans and they are no longer scared of us, that is very dangerous. And they could just keep doing it because they realize there is a source of food. But it's in their genes to be scared of us, because we used to be scary. And they stay away as much as they can. But sometimes, like in this case, the bear attacked. And why? We don't know. The article continues. 2 of the people were critically injured and the 2 others seriously hurt in this attack, while 7 additional people were treated at the scene, but they didn't require hospital treatment. That's a lot of people. I guess it's one of those situations when you can't really imagine how big a grizzly bear is. Am I right? Unless you've seen it. I mean, I've seen them. I've seen one in a zoo where it was a brown bear, but I guess they are from the same group. They are close in size, but I guess grizzly bears could be bigger, right? I guess they are a little bigger, could be bigger, depending on their if they're male or female. Alright, what was it? Where was I going with that? I completely forgot. Oh, that we can't imagine how huge they are. Their paw is probably way bigger than my face. Way bigger than my face. As I said, I've seen a brown bear in a zoo. I've seen them in a museum. In a couple of different museums. But still, I forgot. You forget how actually huge they are. And those kind of people who think they can beat a bear in a fight if their life is in danger. Well, tell these people there's like how many? 7 and 4 too critical. It's like 9 people. 1 bear. And I'm sure the bear got away without a scratch. spokesperson for the Royal Canadian Mounted Police confirmed in a brief statement that several people were attacked by a grizzly bear around 1:30 p.m. They said the attack occurred on what has been called the Old Trail. The local conservation office was called and they are engaged. I do not have any other details at this time, he said. So this is the name of the school. It's spelled ACWSALCTA. I won't attempt. Nope. So this school is a pre-K-12 school run by NUXA LK Nation in Bella Coola. Is any of you guys listening from Canada? And if you are you close to a forest? I think living in the northern hemisphere would be so cool. I just would love everything about it. Well, not getting attacked by bears. But anyway, the article continues. The ages of the victims haven't been confirmed by authorities. But what is pre-K-12? Let's search that because I don't know what that means. The AI overview of Google says it refers to the entire range of education from pre-kindergarten through 12th grade. Well, that's not helping at all, that's everything. Covering the early childhood years up to high school graduation. Pre-K to 12. Oh, I get it now. Pre-kindergarten to 12th. So they could have either been 6. There could be anywhere from 6 to 18 or 17. And their teachers heard also. The school said, "We want to express our deepest gratitude to the students, staff, families, emergency responders, and community members who demonstrated extraordinary strength and compassion during today's difficult and unexpected incident. We also extend our care to all students who witnessed or were affected by the event. No one handles experiences like this alone." They offered gratitude to both students and staff. And the article continues with a long paragraph that the school said it's all nice stuff about the community, of course. But let's skip that. I have a lot to read tonight. The article on the after that paragraph says, Veronica Schooner, SCHOONER, I guess. Veronica said her 10-year-old son, Alvarez, had been in the group of was running for his life. He even felt its fear. Oh my god, that just gave me the chills. I can't even imagine. Like, to have a lot of nightmares. But it's fun in a dream. Oh my god, these poor children. The article says Veronica said many people tried to stop the attack, but a male teacher got the whole brunt of it and was among those taken from the scene via helicopter. What a brave man. Maybe he was trying to distract or, get it away from the others. Veronica said her son was in shock after the incident, as were the others. A lot of people were crying, and I don't know, I just wanted my son and I grabbed him. And then I took him home. The school and Canadian officials haven't immediately responded for additional information. That is how the article ends. What an awful experience for everyone in that group and their families. Again, you can't even imagine anything like that unless you have experienced something close. Have you guys also noticed the uptick in grizzly bear attacks recently? Because I've sure seen a bunch of them pop up, and that made me want to make a video about it. Grizzly attacks are rare, and it kind of, reminds us again of how powerful and huge they are, that they are out there and we are powerless if they decide that, they see us for what we are. We are weak, we are small, and if they want, they can hurt us in most cases, not all of the time. But how terrifying is that? Now, as I've always talked about it is very important, and everyone, the scientists, everyone involved in nature emphasizes that it is very important not to engage with wild animals, and that is to save your life. That is to save the life of someone in the future. You give a squirrel a piece of food, and the next time they either see you or see another human, they will get mad that no food is given and they will attack. And the same thing happens with bears. So it's either that or that you somehow they are a mom with little cubs and you came into their territory. Now they're gonna be very mad. So we don't know which of these happened here. But for some reason the bear was not afraid of these many people and loud people with bear spray. So So there must have been something that caused it for this specific bear to cross that line. Bears, especially grizzlies, are not naturally aggressive towards humans as prey, but they will defend themselves fiercely. Most attacks happen when a bear is surprised at close range. That is when most animal attacks happen. Or when, as I mentioned, when it's protecting cubs or guarding a food source. In fact, data from long-term monitoring, like in Yellowstone, shows that in more than half of human-grizzly encounters, bears show neutral behavior. They don't run, but they don't attack either. More than half. So how should we act if we ever meet a grizzly? I don't think I will ever see a grizzly. But again, we do have brown bears in the northern jungles, the forests. But you can never say never, huh? By the way, aren't grizzlies a kind of brown bears? I think so. Anyway, how should we act? The most important thing, do not run. In none of the times that you encounter any apex predator, you just don't run, because it triggers their chase response. They will run after you, and they are faster, all of them. Instead, if you see a bear, stay calm. Speak softly but firmly. Don't do any stupid, quick move. As you speak, it will know that you are a human. And then you back away slowly without turning your back. But at the same time, do not stare into its eyes, as it could feel threatening to the bear. But do not turn your back. You're slowly moving away while trying to act big and speaking softly and firmly. But it is always necessary to have bear spray or any other type of protection against bears if you know that you are in a place that has bears. And last of all, in the most horrible of the situations, if the bear approaches you fast, like if it starts charging at you and you know that you don't have any other option, it is said to play dead. You lie flat, face down, and you put your hands over your neck legs spread, so it's not in the fetal position that you would think. Maybe like you see it in cartoons, or I don't know where I've heard that position, but it is said to lie flat, face down, hands over neck. Most important part. Neck. Cover your neck and spread your neck. Spread your legs. And why you do that? That is to make sure and make it hard for the bear to flip you. You're not looking at it. You're basically saying, I am no threat to you. You're not making any movement that would trigger anything. And hopefully it will leave you alone. Even more important than how we act is preventing encounters in the first place. For example, again, if you're in a place that you know there are bears around or could be bears around, keep your food, pack your food properly, use bear-safe containers, or hang them from tree. And while you're hiking, make sure that you're making a lot of noise, you're talking and making a lot of sound, because you're not trying to be sneaky in the woods. That's what I've realized recently. Realizing that there is more than probably a Persian leopard, at least one Persian leopard, that hangs around in the same space that I like to camp at. Not at the same time as me, but I've heard it growl at least 2 times last year. Almost last year. Few months ago. I have realized after research, a lot of research, that you do not want to be quiet in the mountains. You want whatever is there to know that you're there, either it's humans or animals. You do not want to surprise anything in the woods. So remember that. And I also keep a whistle with me, this big metal one. I've never had to use it, and I've only had to keep myself safe from dogs so far up there. So making a loud noise is not a good idea with dogs, I don't think. Stray dogs, wild dogs. And again, we just slowly walked away, looking big and not even looking at them, pretending like we don't even see them. There was a group of dogs, and they ran to us, made a lot of scary noises. One of them very gently pet my cap, very gently, just to get my attention. But we kept walking, and it was the scariest thing that happened in my life. I mean, I guess that, and also the fear of getting bombed. I don't know which one was more scary. They all had their own sort of adrenaline, definitely. Anyway, so make noise, travel in at least with one more person, and the more the merrier, but in this case it didn't help them. and again avoid surprising any animal. If bears continue to associate humans with food, they lose that natural fear that they have. We are the unknown, we are the scary thing walking on 2 feet, making this sound with these, things in our hands. So they have this natural fear, but we have started to feed them like puppies and treat them like they could be our friends. Well, that's very, very dangerous. I think that's a big part of why these attacks have been increasing. Non-lethal deterrents like drones are even being tested now to remind bears that humans are something to avoid, not something to raid. That is from The Guardian. That's very interesting. And that's a very good idea if you're in an area that bears exist that also overlaps with humans. I guess it would be good to every now and then associate humans with the loud sounds of drones so that they would just stay scared of us, Because we are tiny and one tiny slash from them is game over for us. Alright, that was a lot of yapping, and I hope that it is putting you right to sleep. Alright, now the second case is about a deer attack of all things. Now this one is fatal. The other one, even though it was a grizzly, there's still not, definite news about anyone's passing. And hopefully they pull through and they'll have the craziest stories to tell for the rest of their lives. I hope that they're doing better. It's only been a day, I think. A day or two. This article about the deer attack is from a website called WTRF.com, and it is titled "Deer Kills Woman Trapped in Pen at Ohio Home." This article was posted on November 18, 2025. This case happened to a woman from Stewartsville, Ohio, in St. Clairsville. She was unfortunately killed after being attacked by a deer kept on her family's property. Deputies were called to the Broger residence, Broger, at about 10:27 p.m. November 15 for a report of an animal attack. When they arrived, family members told them that the victim, Judy Broger, Jodi, had been trapped inside an enclosure with a male deer that had become aggressive. I really don't understand. I thought it was just a wild random deer, but they were keeping a wild male deer in a pen, which I searched, and a pen is a small enclosure for like cattle. So why were they keeping this animal there? Of course, he became aggressive. Okay, let's see what the article says. It says relatives tried to reach her and attempted to kill the animal before deputies arrived. Deputies shot the deer to secure the scene and allow first responders access the victim. Judy Blocker died from her injuries and was pronounced dead at the scene. The Belmont County Coroner's Office was called to assist with the investigation. The sheriff of the town, James Zusak, said no foul play is suspected. The Ohio Department of Natural Resources have been notified and is working with the Ohio Department. Okay, they are all helping each other. But that is the end of this article. And I feel like I've been left with a lot more questions than I started with. I don't know. But deers, you don't usually hear about them hurting animals and hurting humans too. They are often portrayed as graceful, harmless animals. But this story shows that things can go south real quick with any wild animal, even a deer. The truth is that, like the bear attacks, it is rare that these animals would go out of their way to attack a human, and usually there are very natural reasons for the times that they happen. Now let's go through why deers sometimes act aggressively. Number one, just like grizzly bears, it is to protect their young. Those, which are the female deer, can be fiercely protective of their fawns. If a person gets too close, she may charge or stomp, seeing us as a threat. But in this case, it was a male deer and was kept on the property. Reason number two. It could be that it's mating season. Bucks, which are male deers, they get super territorial during the rut or UT, which is the mating season, usually occurring in fall. And that is now, so maybe that's why this male deer went crazy. They have this surge of testosterone, and it may cause to see humans as rivals, and it could cause them to charge or act aggressively towards humans. And maybe I'm just speculating, but maybe in this case, this this male deer was injured and maybe its family in Ohio took it in to, treat it, and then it got aggressive for some reason and attacked this woman, maybe. Another reason could be that the animal feels cornered, which could be the case since they were in a small area not suitable for a wild deer. If a deer can't flee, may be trapped, surprised, it might cause the animal to lash out defensively. Another reason, like the case with the grizzly bears, people start feeding deer like their pet, so they lose their natural fear and they find our weakness, and they may potentially behave this way. But again, in this case, I have no idea what was going on. But what do you do if you find yourself close to a deer that seems upset or defensive? So first of all, if you came upon a deer, do not feed it. Feeding encourages them to expect humans, to expect something from humans, which is dangerous. And you also have to keep a distance. Experts recommend staying at least 50 meters or more if you can away from a deer. If you see one, especially during growth or fawning season, which is autumn right now, do not approach them. That's stupid. If you encounter one closely, move slowly and deliberately. Sudden movements can startle them. If a deer seems aggressive, like they're stomping, their heads are lowered and their ears are back, that means they're not happy. Back away slowly, facing them, like with the other animals. Try to create some barrier, like a tree, a car, a fence, whatever that you see in between you. If it charges, make a loud noise. Wave your arms and make yourself look big. But don't turn and run, which again could trigger a chase. After an accident happens, God forbid, check for injuries, as antlers and the hooves can cause serious wounds. And you should also report it to wildlife authorities so they can monitor behavior and potentially prevent future conflicts. But how scary would that be? I mean, with a bear, you know that they are big and scary and should stay away. But sometimes people lose their sanity a little bit because they see a beautiful animal and they may get close, and if the children's storybook about a family who hand-fed deers when it snowed in their backyard, and I thought it was so cute. But then I realized that's not a good idea at all. Anyway, it's 6:30 a.m. Saturday morning here right now. And it is the first day of the week here. And the airplanes have started going crazy. A lot of people traveling. There is one going by every minute. But that is all that I had to say for tonight. I hope that you only have crazy encounters with these magnificent creatures in your lucid dreams and never in your wake life. And I hope that this far into the video you have already fallen asleep. And if you have, I hope that you are lucid and seeing all things of nature and of peace and of rest, and nothing of the big scary things that exist all around us. And if you're still awake, thank you so much for listening. And please check out my Patreon. And I will see you guys soon. Bye bye. I'm going